Oh, checking connection. Live.
Good afternoon. Good to be with you another week. My name's Chris. Tony, how are you?
Good. We're doing something a little different today, Chris. We're expanding.
A little different is one thing to say for sure. So right now, we're recording a podcast, recording on YouTube, and we're recording on Instagram. I'm going to wave hi. I'm on the CCA account. Tony's on her account. Let's get started, shall we?
I suppose so. This feels really strange to be doing it this way.
Yeah. So basically, if those of you who don't know, we have a podcast at CCA. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff, and also on YouTube now. So today we thought it would be cool to do an Instagram Live at the same time as well. Add another element to this podcast.
Yeah, and to see our faces live. We're human beings.
Human beings in studio. It's pretty cool. I see a whole bunch of people are joining on the CCA. What about on your end, Tony?
Yeah, I have a good handful of people on right now. People are just joining us. For those of you just hopping on, like Chris had mentioned, we're live. We're here in the CCA California office here in Oceanside. We're doing a live podcast today. So we're going to see how this runs. And if it goes well, then we might do it again.
Yeah, pretty much. So basically, if you guys have any questions at all, make sure to leave them in the comments below. Say hello. I see a whole lot of people are joining us. Matt Florentino, friend of the podcast. How are you, Matt?
Hi, Matt.
I see my good friend and buddy Steve Phelps, we just saw yesterday. Hey, Steve, how are you? Lonnie, it's been too long, man. How are you? But anyway, Tony, we've been a little busy this month of June.
Just a little busy.
Just a little bit. And I can't believe we're almost in July.
I can't believe it. We were saying this back in January. We just finished the first show and we thought, man, this year is just so slow. We can't wait for June and July, and then now we're here and everything is going by so fast.
Half the year is gone.
Half the year is gone. Never going to see that again.
I cannot believe it. I mean, I feel you're right. I mean, with the shows, it feels like it was 2 weeks ago. It was like 3 months ago. It's just unbelievable. And we're rocking and rolling.
I think so.
I think so too. We had our Anthony Shea banquet last night. So if you see my tired eyes, that's why. We were up until, I was up till 1:30 last night. I don't know about you, Tony, but I am beat.
Oh, no. As soon as I got home, I crashed.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Stuck in the office per the usual. Nice. That's Matt Florentino.
Howie says hello. How was the event last night? The event was so much fun. Those of you that were able to be there, thank you so much for coming out and supporting. And we were at a new venue and it was outdoors and it was absolutely beautiful. Thank you to all the volunteers that were out there helping us. And you guys really, really put in the legwork into helping make that event. All the events, but in particular, that event last night really successful. So I can't thank all the volunteers enough.
We always say it, and it's absolutely 100% true. Really, CCA is made up of volunteers. It really keeps all of us going, keeps us productive, not only in membership and fundraising and all the necessary stuff.
And morale.
Morale, yeah. But also in the advocacy portion, too. It's like we've accomplished so much in 9 years. But it really is because of our members.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all there really is to it. But, let's kind of recap the year here, shall we?
Let me pull up my calendar because I feel like we have accomplished a lot.
Okay, I take that back. Maybe not the year. Maybe the last 3 months since the last time we've actually checked in with these folks here.
I think I still need to check my calendar here first.
So
stand by.
We mentioned Anthony Shea, and once again, thank you guys so much for those of us, or for those of you who have joined us last night. We were at the Grand in Long Beach, brand new venue for us, and it was beautiful. Made beautiful by your own mom as the decorator.
Oh, she had such a blast.
She did a good job. She did a really good job. Very sweet as well. So it was really, really fun. We had a lot of people join us last night. Over 200 people, which was cool. That one took, I'll be honest, it took a lot out of me, Anthony Shea. It's usually a big deal. A lot of people show up. It's one of our bigger fundraisers, if not the biggest fundraiser for us of the year. So a lot of work goes into it. But, overall it was fun. It was really fun. Got to go up on stage and say a couple things too. And
got to play a game.
Got to play a game. Yeah. It's that was actually really, really fun. I wasn't expecting to be that animated, but it was fun nonetheless. We honored a great individual, Mark Relnick, as well. Well deserving of the award. So all good stuff from last night. All good stuff. But before that, we had charters to go on, actually, I'll take that back. Charters that you went on. We also had our first couple banquets as well. We had Channel Islands, their poker tournament. Actually, I'll let you kind of give the rundown.
Okay, so this was back in May, which feels like a lifetime ago, to be honest with you. So back in May, we had the Channel Islands Texas Hold'em tournament. We had the Bay Bass Classic following the week after. We had San Diego chapters Apps and Taps. We had the start of Star. We had the MDRA Halibut Derby the first week of June. I got to look at my calendar now. And then we were straight into charter season. On top of dealing with Star and promoting Star, doing weekly.
Forgot about Star.
How could you forget?
I know. By the way, guys, if you're on my feed and want to actually go see Tony, you can go on her Instagram. Or vice versa or whatnot. But we are live streaming from both accounts there. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, and then we had a bunch of charters that happened in the last couple of weeks. We had four this month alone.
Whose idea was that?
Who put us in charge?
Oh, man. Yeah, that was... I don't think we're going to do that again, to be honest.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I mean, in theory, it's perfect. It sounds great because we get to go fishing 4 times a month.
Yeah, it sounds great in January. And you look at your calendar and you're like, sick. We've got 4 trips for sure 6 months from now. And then we're going through it on top of planning our million events. And then we think to ourselves, who allowed us? Why are we doing this?
Why did we do this to ourselves? Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Channel Islands Poker Night was fun. Thanks, guys, for everything at all the events. Yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. It's that one was really, really fun. It was good to hang out with you at that one too. That was a really fun event.
Heck yeah, that was so much fun. I've never played poker in my life. I've never even sat. I don't even think I've ever sat at a blackjack table because I get too anxious.
Wait. You've never sat at a blackjack table?
No, I always got too scared that I was going to go too slow or I couldn't do math fast enough and the dealer would just pass me by. I don't know. I didn't want to be that person.
Oh man. Can a dealer pass you by in blackjack? Don't you have to go?
No, but it's the societal pressure of people around me who are avid players looking at me like, this noob, get out of here. Let the big guys play.
Oh, man. It was fun.
It was
really,
a lot
really
of fun.
And then we had Apps and Taps shortly after that, too.
Apps and Taps, we honored Captain Frank Lopresti, another well-deserving award to a distinguished gentleman.
We had a lot of people there, too.
Yeah.
Over 200. Another one.
Oh, we hit over 2?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. I didn't know we had that many people there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we were in a large room, that's why.
Yeah, that's true. We were very spread out, I feel like. There was a lot of rooms with a lot of people. We had food. Oh, my gosh. If you didn't walk away from that event with a lot of alcohol and or full with every pallet of food you can possibly imagine, then you did not do that event correctly.
Yeah. What's up? We got the guys at Channel Island Sport Fishing saying hello. What's up, guys? Greetings from Oxnard, or from San Diego to Oxnard.
So I have a question over here, Chris. I don't even think I have the best answer for it, but someone asked, what's a good general area to target black cod with deep drop gear? I don't think I cannot answer that question for you, so I apologize. But the only thing that comes to mind is to go up to Alaska and catch black cod and sablefish, because we would catch those things all the time when we were fishing for salmon.
I don't have anything. I really
you got
don't.
nothing?
I got nothing.
Black cod, out of all the fish to ask about black cod.
Yeah, and guys, as a reminder, if you guys have any questions you'd like for us to answer live here on the podcast, let us know. Drop them in the comments. Love to answer them.
Yeah, we're just here chit-chatting.
Yeah. One thing, Tony, I know we're event-centric, yourself and myself. There's a lot of people, a lot of state board members, Wayne, one of them also. They put a lot of work into the advocacy front, which is much, much needed, especially here in California as well. It all starts with the members. We've already discussed that. It starts with volunteers as well, but really the reason why we do what we do is because of the members that we represent. And, obviously we've said it many times, our strength is well within our numbers, and, the way that we accomplish things is because of them. We do things for the benefit of them, but also the future generations too. Mm-hmm. So a lot of different elements, but one thing that I'll kind of kick this one off to you, but obviously in our namesake is conservation. Mm-hmm. We're a conservation organization, and I really, personally, I believe in conservation, as I'm sure you do as well. But really, it's so important to us. We, as anglers, we've said plenty of times how we sometimes get a bad rap, and it's, whether for good reason or not, we get a bad rap amongst the general public, amongst, the people on the other side of the coin and all that. But, really conservation plays an important role in our angling too, in my opinion.
It has to, right? Without the fish, there wouldn't be the sport. Yeah. And I used to always think as a deckhand, there are going to be some good days, some bad days, but there's always going to be fish there. But the reality is, if they're not managed properly or the management is poor, then those fish may not always be there for us to catch, for us to be out there. And that, it's such a trickle-down effect that I don't think a lot of people really put those pieces together, from tackle manufacturers, from rods and reels and hooks and weights, and there's so many things that come into play. Plus you have small businesses that rely on fishing tackle. You have bait. Your bait. We take for granted here in San Diego. We can go out there and we know we're going to get sometimes not the greatest bait, but we know there's going to be something in there. Mm-hmm. And that's a luxury that not a lot of landings along the coast have, which I fully acknowledge. But, you talk about the small businesses and their boats and their fuel, and then fuel prices. There's the laundry list is pages and pages and pages long, that if we don't take action and take the right steps in making sure that our fish are there, then what else are we all going to do? Yeah.
It's very simple-minded, but if you think about it, as anglers, it's not like we want to go in and only fish for today or for next week or this year or whatever. We're fishing because we love to do it, but why would we want to go fish and basically eliminate it?
Right.
In one fell swoop? Why do we want to go and, catch everything so we don't have anything to catch tomorrow? It just does not make sense. And we, unfortunately, get that kind of a rap, amongst others. It's illogical to me.
Yeah, I experienced it when I was going to Long Beach State. I want to say I was the only legit fisherman out of my whole marine biology classmates and classes. And anytime we'd talk about commercial versus rec fishing, everybody in the class would just say the same thing. Fishermen are bad. They just pull out things out of the ocean. It's like, well, No, that methodology is not, it doesn't really hold a lot of water there. And it's almost like you get ostracized for being like that.
Yeah.
Or for being an angler, just in general, when
Yeah.
you're grouped together with all these other categories.
It's like a stigma.
It's a total stigma. Yes.
Yeah, the whole thing is mind blowing to me. It really is. But that's kind of an interesting perspective to where, to say that you come from that side would be inaccurate. But you've been on that side to where you've been amongst, I guess, enemy lines, so to speak, or whatever, behind enemy lines or whatnot. But it must have been fascinating just to kind of see their perspective, or at least be taught that perspective, and then basically have your own opinions and beliefs, and not even move on to our side, but really just have that experience on that side.
Yeah. It was tough to wear both hats, especially in such a social setting.
Yeah. I agree. But, that's kind of the reason why we exist.
Right.
Is to make sure that we have something to go catch, have something for my son to catch in like 20 years. Well, probably less than that, 10 years.
Yeah.
Less than that, actually, 5 years.
Less in the next couple of years, sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's not walking yet, but yeah, next couple of years. I like your thinking.
But it's all about the future, and it's not necessarily where we're at right now because we're able to fish. But what if that privilege was taken away from us?
It would
in
suck.
the next couple years.
It would suck.
You don't want to be late to the game and fight for something as it's already getting taken away. You want to avoid that step completely and fight for it now so that we have that right to have it for years to come.
Yeah.
And not just when it gets taken away, then we all come up in arms.
And that's a very real threat. That really is. But anywho, moving right along, what are we in June? You're 8 months in? 7 months in?
Yeah.
It feels like 20 years, doesn't it?
Gosh, boy, does it ever.
How are things going?
Oh, I think things are going great.
Amongst all of our friends on Instagram.
No,
tell me how you really feel.
I'm loving this. This is, the amount of people that I've met in these last 8 months. I've met many of you fishing, or while I was a deckhand and meeting them. But to have the relationship or the building relationship that I do now with so many of you that are watching, and those volunteers that I hold so near and dear to my heart, it's really been a really special feeling, I think, for me to go from one side of the industry kind of to the other. And that was something I didn't even know existed, to be honest with you. The room we sat in yesterday with people that were the presidents and CEOs of tackle companies and clothing companies in the industry that we all use and wear, it was like, whoa. Like this, there's a much bigger picture here.
Yeah.
And I got to be a part of it, which is cool.
Yeah. It's, I remember having that exact same feeling when I first started, to where it's like, oh my God, you see that? That was Bill Shedd. That was Doug Lasko. Holy crap.
I get starstruck sometimes. Bill, if you're watching, I get so starstruck.
Yeah. Matt, tell Bill that Tony's starstruck.
I think to myself, my name.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I said that I thought that exact same thing years ago, to where it's like, holy crap, this is it. Where do I go from here? But on that note, it takes all of us. It really does. In this whole mission, this whole accomplishments list that we have for the last 9 years, it really took and continues to take all of us, whether we're staff or board members or state board members or national or members. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Or star participants as well. It's interesting. Our good friend Don Salveson just wrote a comment. Anglers are not commercial fishermen. Our take is minimal, though numbers are huge. The trickle-down economics are massive. Equipment, bait, boats, fuel, camping, lodging, boat rentals, taxes, etc. Yeah, that's absolutely true, Don. And thank you, by the way. Well, it was good to see you last night. Don was our volunteer photographer for the event. Does a really, really great job. Thank you so much, Don, for all your support. And couldn't do it without you, man. For sure. But he does have a good point.
Yeah.
It's a big industry.
Yeah. There are so many pieces to the pie.
Yeah.
And you have to understand the needs of both because they are very, not the same, but they're same, but different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think going forward, getting us back to 2024, going forward, we have a very productive second half of the year, I would say. Our fundraising efforts are, I guess, on pause now because we don't have our next fundraiser is in September, right? I think with the Santa Barbara golf tournament.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I actually have three golfing related fundraisers.
I'm gonna play golf for the first time in my life.
Oh, I can't wait.
So
I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see that. We got to get your camera out, so we're documenting this too.
No, we really, really don't need to do that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be really, really fun. I think, as we've discussed, this summer it's not like we take a break or anything like that. We keep rolling, and we have to keep planning
planning for next year. That's what a lot of people, I think, don't realize. Take last night, for example. Everyone comes in. It's this big, beautiful event. But what they don't see is the 8 months of planning that take place beforehand and the organizing and the amount of labor and hours that go into doing an event like that, but spread across every single event that goes down.
Tony, we're going to talk about shows in like a month. Less than a month.
We are?
Yeah. We're going to start planning for shows. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Speaking of shows, we're also going to go to ICAST for the first time.
We are.
I'm
very excited.
I was going to ask you, how much are you looking forward to going to ICAST for your first time?
I'm very excited, but I'm not excited about the heat because I hate heat and I hate humidity. So put those two together. Man, I'm probably gonna walk around. I'm gonna look like the biggest tourist with one of those necklaces that have the fan on it.
I was just about to say, I gotta get you one of those fans, the one that rings around your neck.
I'm gonna need something.
The big hat too.
Oh yeah, big straw hat, big bucket hat, full coverage.
Sunglasses, the nose with the full sunscreen layer.
With the zinc, the colored zinc. Yeah. That's totally gonna be me.
Yeah.
Just fresh off the airplane, just.
Oh man, I remember when actually, that's something that we can probably talk about too. You went to Texas for the first time.
I did.
CCA National.
I did. That was my first time in Texas.
I was going to make a comment about how you were complaining about that kind of heat, and that was only in April.
Oh my gosh, it was so. I mean, I've never experienced heat like that and humidity like that. I think in my life. Maybe once before when I was younger, but to experience it again, oh my gosh! But everybody there was so nice. Yeah. Everyone, we went to CCA National. Chris, all these guys. You have rapport with everyone, but it was the first time that I got to meet all the people that I'm in the email chains with and communicating with, and
putting faces to names.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody there is just so willing to go out of their way and help you and to make sure that you are going to be put in the best place possible to be successful.
Yeah.
And it was a great time, and we learned so much. It was really great to see other ADs and EDs from other states talk about what works in their state, because California, we're our own climate over here. And to see what works in other states and to try and change it and adopt it to California was really eye-opening.
It's interesting to see, and it still is for me, it's interesting to see all of the different dynamics amongst other states. Mm-hmm. And it's very different, but it's also very similar. The struggles, the uphill battles, everything. It's almost like the same process, just different location.
Right.
So it's always fascinating to go back to Texas and kind of learn what's going on a national level, and also see what's going on around the country too. Because California, we have our own set of problems. Mm-hmm. Everyone else has their own set of problems that are completely different and completely different species. Obviously, I mean, things are going on up north in Oregon and Washington, just like they are here in California, and vice versa in the Gulf, in Texas and Florida. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of things colliding everywhere. That's for sure. We found that out with Oregon and the border and salmon up there. Well, I mean, we didn't learn about it. We touched on it very briefly. But that alone, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on.
Always. Yeah. So anyway, going back to this summer, we're going to be talking about our show planning coming up. We're going to be talking about 2025. I haven't really told you much about what we're going to do, but I think everyone's going to like it. There's going to be a couple new changes, couple new events that we were working on. There's always something that we're always planning, but I think 2025 we're going to go out pretty big.
I hope so.
And a big reason why is because it's our 10-year anniversary.
That's right.
Yeah.
We need to have some kind of party fiasco.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And, honestly, for an organization to get to our 10th year, it's, I think it's a big accomplishment. I really do. I mean, not very many organizations last that long. And for us to not only last 10 years, but also be as productive in 10 years, I think that's something we're celebrating. And celebrating with all of our board members, all of our members, and all that. So I think we're gonna blow it out of the water in 2025.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Not saying that we're completely done with 24, but not unfortunately, but we have to start planning. So that's what we're gonna do this summer, along with getting ready for all of our fall fundraising too.
Yeah, we got a lot going on. I mean, we're not just sitting here twiddling our thumbs looking at paint dry. There's constantly
or podcasting.
No, we've constantly have things moving and pieces moving at all times, all at once.
Yeah. And for those of you looking to get involved with CCA, we have plenty of opportunities to get involved, whether it's our pledge program on a monthly basis. I mean, $20 a month goes a hell of a long way. There's our donation page. There's our membership. Membership's only $40 for the year. We need a lot of members. Not to mention, we've got the Star Tournament going on still. It's going to end Labor Day. It's September 2nd.
There's plenty of time left.
Well, since we brought up Star, what are your impressions, and what are you thinking about all these submissions that are popping in every single week?
One of the many aspects of Star I did not see coming. So, saltwater bass, 18 inches. You talk to a lot of people, catching an 18-inch saltwater bass, that's a big one. That's a big one right there. And I know from telling people about that at the shows, there's a lot of hesitation. But I tell you what, saltwater bass has the most amount of entries right now, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a good point. During the shows, almost everybody was saying, oh man, 18 inches, that's a big bass. Yet, that's our most submitted fish right now.
Right. Between saltwater bass, we have yellowtail, we have halibut, there's bluefin, yellowfin, white sea bass, albacore. What am I missing? Big eye. Out of all those species, saltwater bass, 18-inch saltwater bass minimum takes the most amount of entries.
Yeah. I don't see it changing either. I mean, maybe when the bluefin are solid.
We'll wait for summertime.
Yeah.
And we'll see. But, I mean, those numbers speak for themselves. That's a strong number to start right out the gate.
I agree. And, speaking of strong numbers, the participation that we got in our first year, can you believe it?
I can and I cannot, because it took a lot of work to promote Star, and thanks to Chris Wheaton for really going above and beyond and making it part of the success that it is. And with all the events that we do, there's so many moving parts, and Star was one of those added complexities where you needed a lot of people. You needed your own committee to get it going and keep up with it. It's not like, okay, we started Star, we're going to take a back seat. We're constantly on Fishing Chaos and monitoring submissions and asking questions and
answering questions
and troubleshooting and making sure everyone's dialed in and
giving away prizes every week.
And giving away multiple prizes a week just for doing what you're going to do anyway, and that's taking pictures of your fish.
Yeah.
It sounds too easy.
Yeah.
Sounds too good to be true.
It kind of is. And speaking of prizes, if you guys are not aware, first of all, if you're not registered for the Star Tournament, you need to. That's all there is to it. Tuna Timbers, great event last night. Happy to be part of it. But that's Butch. Hey, Butch.
Hi, Butch.
Yeah, good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for coming. You and Darren are huge supporters of CCA, and we can't thank you enough, guys. I think, where was it go? Oh, Star. Sorry, Butch, you totally derailed me, my train of thought. Anyway, speaking of Star, if you're not involved with the Star Tournament and you're not joined up and registered for the Star Tournament, why? Why not? I mean, it's $40. You got to be a CCA member, but $40 can get you a freaking boat or 9 other trips of a lifetime. Alaska.
And people don't have to feel left out because it's if you're a CCA member. We'll just get you signed in.
Yeah.
We'll get you signed up and you'll be dialed. You can fish the tournament.
Come on in. The water's warm. Plenty of room for everyone.
Yeah, and you can join the Star Tournament at any time. It's not like because the tournament started, you can no longer become part of the tournament. You can literally join Star September 1st, the day before it ends, and log your entries for a chance.
Yeah. I mean, we're still getting a handful of registrations. Registrants? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting a handful of those every day.
Yeah.
It's cool. People are joining in. And also, it could pay off to join in as well because, like we said before, we're giving away prizes every single week. There's opportunities to win all over the place. Izzymon, I just joined yesterday. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Woo.
Yeah. Basically, we're giving away a weekly prize for anyone who is entering a fish on that given week. So what I mean by that is
Monday to Monday.
Monday to Sunday.
Monday to Sunday.
That was bad.
I should know this.
Monday to Sunday. So if you submit a fish between a Monday and Sunday of that week, you are eligible to get a prize. And that prize, I just shipped it out. First week was, what was that? An Avid Reel.
Avid Reel.
Second week was
Costa.
A pair of Costa sunglasses.
We have
week,
IGFA package.
This week we're giving away a freaking cooler. It's all good stuff.
And social media.
Yeah.
There's reels in the social media prizes.
Yeah, I was just about to say. So because of our good friends at Cope's Tackle up in Bakersfield, California, and hey, Muto, Submission Fishing Company, what's up, guys? I'm in the CCA Star in Florida. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. It's a big deal. Florida is no joke. So anyway, we're giving away weekly prizes not only for the tournament side on just submitting a fish. That's all you need to do to be eligible. But also on the social media side. All you really need to do is take a picture of your entry. And it could be a cool picture. It could be something that gets a hell of a lot of likes. It could be a picture that doesn't get a lot of likes on your personal feed. Tag us, the CCA channel. Tag the Star channel, the Star page. And tag Cope's Tackle and Rod Shop in Bakersfield. And you're in to win. You're in to win. I mean, the first week we gave away, or they gave away, a Pen 300 low profile reel, I think.
Yeah.
This week we're giving away a Squall 300. Last week we gave away Costa sunglasses. So, I mean, all you need to do is participate, post on social media, post on Instagram rather, and you're eligible to win. It's super, super simple.
Yeah. So I got another question over here, and it got a little buried, so I apologize. But And I'm curious to know your opinion on this. It's a tackle question.
Oh no.
So someone was asking for rail rods, some of the lower priced options. You know, someone who wants to fight a big bluefin and they need a rail rod, but they don't necessarily want to break the bank. I have a couple that come to mind, and I'll have you give your 2 cents to what you think. But the two like lower priced options for not breaking the bank, in my opinion. First one's a Daiwa boat rod. It's a heavy boat rod. Have you used those before, Chris?
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, and then so you got Daiwa and you have Graphtec. Graphtec makes some pretty stiff rods for rail rods, and you're going to find them, I think, under $300 to $350
That's pretty solid.
for a rail rod.
For a rail
we're
rod,
talking
yeah.
50 to 100-pound rail rod. Is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
all those brands. I mean, pretty much. I actually really like the Okuma PCH rods. Those are pretty much. Those are pretty good.
you're an Akuma guy. You're all kinds of
I
tackle guy.
I play the field. I play the field.
I know. Well, you kind of have to find out what you like. You know, it's good to experiment with different companies and brands and tackle. Just because everyone's different. Everyone's leverage points are different, and I'm really short, so someone like me is going to need a rod with certain specs that maybe someone who's 6 foot may not want, or vice versa. So it's really important to find a rod that is best suited for you and your ability.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point, because it's not one size fits all.
Definitely
at all.
not.
So, honestly, my advice, and honestly, not really good at rods, but at rod recommendations, but really going into your local tackle store, talking to someone who actually knows something about rods and reels and all that stuff to get you set up, especially with because tackle's an investment nowadays. It really is. And I think going into a tackle store says a lot, to where you got to get in, feel, and also have kind of an idea of what you like too.
What you're fishing for.
Yeah. All the kinds of different methods. Because nowadays you can buy, that's what I love, is to buy I'll just say a combo that's versatile, right? So it's something that's going to get me through, a decent sized tuna, but then also is going to be pretty adequate for something else. Because, you could spend a fortune on outfitting you can literally have a rod for every single use and just go overboard with it and invest a really big fortune actually in all this tackle. But really just kind of going in, feeling it out, and also just trying things. There's no shame. I mean, I loan out my gear all the time to buddies who are interested. Hey, I like that rod. Well, try it. Go for it. See what you think. And there's no no harm, no foul on that one.
Yeah.
A lot of the sport boats nowadays too have loaner gear too, to where, someone is sponsored by this company or that company and they have boat rods available and all that. So, to what you pointed out, Tony, I like to play the field a lot. I don't like to, and with the nature of our business, it's like we can't really play favorites or anything like that. So, I like to kind of try before I buy it, but then also just really kind of have an idea as to what you're specifically looking for. I know that was long-winded, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it comes to these bluefin, man, like the big ones are mean. During the day, they are mean. They're so angry, and you do not want to be undergunned when you're fishing for that size, for that caliber.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, get smoked. Not fun.
Our good friend Butch says, we have the measuring tape mounted on the Eldo trying to get more people interested. We have many qualifying fish that aren't getting submitted. Hopefully we can get more people involved. I agree, Butch. I agree. Actually, we were on the Eldo a couple weeks ago. They did something really cool, which I may have to steal to go across the whole fleet. They mounted their measuring device on an acrylic.
Yeah, genius.
Makes it super, super simple.
Genius.
Yeah. Butch, whose idea was that? Was that yours? It sounds like yours. But yeah, that was really cool. We need to actually kind of mimic that and copy that too. Badfish562 says Graph Tech rail rods. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good right there. Guess who joined us?
Who?
Your saltwater guide.
Oh, Mr.
Dave
Hansen.
Yep. Hi, Dave. Good for thanks for joining us last night, my friend. Oh, it seems like TJ came up with that. That's cool. Thank you, TJ. Very cool. Yeah, so a lot of crap going on, a lot of star news, a lot of just 2025 planning, a lot of events. It never ends.
No. And we still have charters left. There's still some fishing left to do.
I was going to say, let's run down through the events that we have left in 2024. One of which is a charter, or actually two charters. One's next week, actually. The Bass Charter.
Oh, is it? It is.
Yeah.
Oh my
Next Tuesday. So for those of you who are interested or can make it, you guys got it. So this charter, you've never been on this one, Tony, which it's going to be super, super fun. So every year we do a charter on the Some Fun out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing with Mr. Brian Woolley. We do a bass only charter. That's all we're going after, bass only. And it's super, super fun. It always sells out. No question about it. This year, we actually have some spots available. And it's next Tuesday. It's like a couple days away.
And it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, and it's going to be beautiful. And it's $100. That's it.
Fishing for bass is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like lighter tackle.
I was going to ask you, what's the number of setups that you're going to limit yourself to for next week?
Oh, gosh. You know, I love preaching to be as minimal as possible, but I mean, you look at the fishing that's going on this season alone. Every day you might hit something else. And so to answer your question, I think I might bring three different rods, maybe 4, depending how I'm feeling.
3 sounds a little light.
It sounds light.
I was going to say 4 is the sweet spot.
To be on, like, for this trip specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest with you, like, I don't have a lot of bass gear. I have, like, chovy sticks and super whippy rods, and I have some, like, bait casters that I can pull from. But comparing my bass tackle to, say, my fly line tackle, my 30 to 50 pound fly line arsenal, out of control.
Solid.
I'm covered. If you need a rod, I can help you out. Yeah, but as far as like my bass tackle, I will admit it's a little lacking, but what I have holds strong.
Yeah.
I stand by it.
Yeah. Man, I'm trying to think of what's in my quiver. I have a lot of bass gear. I have quite a bit of low profile reels. So it sounds like I have to outfit you for next week, which is fine. I have it. But ultimately, I like to take between 3 and 4 rods too. And I think right now, because of the timing of this trip, I might actually use this trip as kind of like a field test for another trip that I'm taking on in August, which is going on Tony Reyes.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. And I know I get it, totally 2 different fisheries. I get it. It's all good. But I did pick up quite a bit of new jigs, and I'm kind of curious to see how they swim.
Oh, I mean, what better time to float test those jigs and to swim them?
Exactly.
You got to know how those jigs swim. Have to know.
By the way, Steve Phelps agrees with you. 3 rods, 1 bass rod, 1 20-pound rod, 1 jig stick.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Steve, I thought we were friends, man. What the hell? We got a question from Eric R. White. I caught 3 white sea bass last Saturday and live in Ojai next to Ventura. I kept the heads in the freezer and wondering where to send them in for research. Well, thank you, Eric.
Excellent question. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Yeah. Tony, you want to answer it?
Well, to answer your question, we have a number of freezer drop-off locations all along the coast from Santa Barbara. Do we have anything north of Santa Barbara? I don't think so.
No, not currently.
No, but we still have a wide stretch. So Santa Barbara all the way down here to San Diego. If you go to our website, we have a tab there. It'll tell you all the white sea bass head drop-off locations.
Specifically for Ojai, though, next to Ventura, so there's two options for you. There's Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing. There's a freezer there. Just go take them into the landing right there, and you can drop them off right then and there. Make sure you fill out your slip. Slip really just asks really, really basic questions. Also, if you're entered into the Star Tournament, don't forget to mention that on that slip, because for turning in ahead, you get eligible to win a rare, very rare trip on a badass boat. Our good friends at RV Polar have donated a full day trip.
That boat is so cool.
You're going on that trip, right? The winter trip?
If I am so lucky to be a part of that trip, it would be such a treat.
I think you are.
Such a treat.
If I think a little birdie said you were going to make that trip. So that's your answer, Eric. Hopefully that helps you out. If you have any questions, feel free. Please do not hesitate to reach out. BW19, is the Coastal Social San Diego event still on? Well, as of right now, yeah, it is still on. That's going to be September. Gosh, you're going to make me look at the calendar. I think September 21st.
21st.
Confirmed. That's the Coastal Social South event. Registration is open at coastalsocial.org. And man, I forgot about that one. Just loaded the calendar. It's crazy. That's always a fun event too. That's going to be at Dana Landing. Usually in San Diego, you'll see this, Tony, but we have a little bit of more of an event. North usually is just a simple weigh-in station. You grab your bag and then you're pretty much off to go put your boat away. But San Diego, we usually have some food there. We'll have a little bit of a raffle too, kind of like a party at Dana Landing. So that's going to be a really, really fun event, September 21st. You can go register now. If you register for now, it's a big help for us. So that's Coastal Social South there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Yeah, because North was postponed this year.
It was postponed.
You haven't experienced Coastal Social
No, because I was always working on the boat.
Yeah.
Could never do fun things.
Yeah, it's a really, really fun event. But anywho, we got the Bass Charter next week. We have, I don't know if you want to call it a Sea Bass Charter, but a Channel Islands Charter on the Mirage in late July.
I mean, hopefully we'll have a good chance.
Yeah.
Have a good chance. Got into some this past weekend. Got lucky enough with that.
I was going to say, big congrats. Someone caught their first white sea bass last week.
It was. Little Alaska girl caught a white sea bass.
Yeah. How was that?
Oh, that was so much fun. I didn't really know what to expect, and I had the right tackle for it and everything, but when we got there, when we anchored up, I mean, the current was just ripping. I mean, if you could not have anything less than a 16-ounce weight at the end of your line if you were doing a reverse dropper loop or whatever. Didn't really get baits on fly line, but yeah, everyone along the side of the boat, you got flagged out so fast, and we weren't in that deep of water. I mean, I want to say we were less than 120 feet, something like that, but the current was ripping when we pulled up. So yeah, if you were one of those people that just had your line at the right place at the right time, you weren't too flagged out, you were pretty straight up and down. If we had a swim through, there was a good chance you were bit, unless you were tangled. There was a lot of those.
Was this your first time actually true sea bass fishing?
Yeah, I mean, we fished for him on the El Dorado. We had a shot at him, but we didn't have any biters. But Andrew from Orange County, Andrew Weisky, was the first person to pull one up on deck, and I just remember looking at that thing like, oh, geez, that's a toad. Mm-hmm. That's almost as big as I am. That's cool. The
picture looked like the sea bass was as big as you.
Yeah. No, I think when we weighed it out, I think it was 34 pounds, which is interesting to me because I can look at, tuna, bonita, dorado, you name it, offshore, and be like, oh yeah, that's a 30-pounder, that's a 40-pounder. And then looking at the white sea bass, what I thought looked like a 60-pounder was like 24, and that was mine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's huge. And then we weighed it, and it was like 25. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But got a lot of meat on that, and that was so much fun.
That's cool. Good for you.
Right place, right time, swim through, got bit on the retrieve.
Yeah.
Got bit on the retrieve. I was had my squid down there, and I would just wind it up a little bit, drop back down, make sure I was on the bottom, would wind it up, and then I got bit. Well, I think I got bit on the wind up, but I think sea bass are kind of lazy, and if something's in front of the face, they'll just kind of go and grab it and not really take a run for it unless you put some pressure on them. And I brought that thing up, and it was such a electrifying moment.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Marco Munoz, have you guys heard Sierra Farrell's new album? I don't know if this is the stream for that. I don't know. I've never heard of that. Have you?
No, I don't think that's in my musical library.
Neither. Yeah, same with me. Sorry, man. Can't help you out. Butch wants to know, and I was going to ask you this, but so he beat me to it. Did you turn in the head or keep the stones?
Oh, Butch, you know what we did? So we, Hub SeaWorld is implementing a new pilot program this year, and that is collecting a piece of their pectoral fin in this little, how would you, like a sterilized vial. There's certain solution in there, and you cut the little pectoral fin, and really it's just like a thumbnail worth. So what we did was we collected the heads from everybody who had their fish filleted and didn't want them. So we had a number of heads that I dropped off the next day at Hubs. But we only caught 8 white sea bass that trip. But we had 8 full fin clip kits ready to go to contribute to part of their program. So not only did we have heads, Butch, we had fin clips to go along with it, and that's all in part to help their genetic studies.
Yeah.
For science, Butch, for science.
For science. Yeah, that's going to be a good program. It's going to be, it's kind of a pain in the butt to have to cut off heads and keep them, and you have that issue that most anglers always often wondered about, like, can I get my stones?
Yeah.
Or, I don't want to donate the head because of those stones and all that. And that's always been kind of a, from my perspective, it's always been a hesitation. And I get it. I totally get it. This fin clip program, hopefully that becomes the new norm for this program, and also far more effective too.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the way I see it too is I could keep the stones, but at the end of the day, if I'm helping, even though 8 is a very small number compared to the population of white sea bass that are out there, but that small number is still valuable data. And if it's data that can help contribute to better understanding what the hatchery success and percentage is, and I'll sacrifice a head, for that reason. I want to know if that program is working, and if that contributes to that, then I feel like I had a part in helping contribute to this, very loosely helping contribute to the success of the program. But I'm all about citizen science. Any opportunity you can, you should jump on it.
Yeah. And by the way, if you want to see that whole experience, we have a post. Tony has a post on that whole deal about her taking fin clips with Andrew and all that on our Instagram page. So go check that one out. By the way, your fiance joined. Hey, Chad.
Oh,
what's
hi.
Up, Mr. Chavez, welcome back. Been aiding. You need a spell check, man. Waiting for the next podcast. Well, sorry, we've been busy.
Well, here we are.
Yeah. Let's go.
So I got another one over here, Chris.
Yeah.
Kyle's Fisherman. If bluefin fishing, what size knife jigs would you bring generically? So that's...
What kind of jigs?
Knife jigs.
Knife jigs.
So, well, do you want a long-winded answer or a short-winded answer? You know, when you're fishing for them at night, generally, okay, so I'll say generally, you want your jig straight up and down. You might have it a little bit flagged out, but if you're more than 45 degrees from the boat, you might have 300 yards of line out, and they might be in that zone. But the more you increase that angle, you're not even close to that zone. I can't give you the numbers, but I can tell you right now, if your jig is at a 45 degree angle, you're not 300 feet out from underneath the boat where the sonar is pinging them. You might be 120 feet from the surface.
Say less than half.
Yeah. So I think generally you want to have a wide range of jigs because a lot of that is dependent on what the conditions are. Is there a lot of current? You get current offshore. I mean, there are days where it's flat like a lake and you're 40 grams of Zacanas straight up and down, and there are days where you're using a 500, 600 gram jig and you're still flagging out a little bit. You know, so I think generally a good rule of thumb is to have kind of a wide range. What works during the day, you want to use like the lighter gram jigs. So I've seen anywhere from 60 to 100 grams of Zacanas work out really well, but you're just casting those out. You might let it drop for a little bit. And then once you're at that 45 degree, that 30 degree angle from the boat, you're burning it back to the boat. You might even drop it again as you're winding it back up just to try and get that reaction bite. But for knife jigs, like I said, a wide variety during the day, anywhere from 140 all the way to 250, somewhere in there during the day. I mean, what we saw too during the day for these bluefin is they're keyed in. If they're you know, at the surface or they're breezing and they're all, you know, clumped in, grouped together, they're keyed in on that micro bait, you know, on chovy. And if you think about the size of an anchovy compared to a typical size of a sardine, anchovy's a lot smaller. So if you can find, and I know a lot of tackle manufacturers now are making tungsten jigs, those smaller profile jigs where it might be, you know, a less than 6-inch long jig, but it's 160 grams. I mean, that's pretty solid. You always, you know, like fly fishing, match the hatch. You want to match the type of bait that you're using. So 140 to, I'll say 250 during the day. I feel like I've been most successful, and I've seen people be really successful with that generally. But at night, I mean, shoot, I think they're purely reactionary at night, and you can just drop anything down. Just drop a weight with some crimped hooks on there and you'll get hit. Yeah. You know, 250 to 400 gram, 500 gram jig. They'll feel that water movement rush past them and they're like, squirrel, you know. So hopefully that long-winded answer, but there's not just one. There's not one jig. You know, you got to look at what the conditions are and kind of play around with it.
I got nothing to add. That was pretty good. Oh, man. Marco wants to know, when will you be going shore fishing with Benji Kim?
Hopefully soon. I saw him last night. Did you see Benji last night?
I did.
I met him and his wife. They are some of the nicest people ever. Benji's an awesome human being, and he told me anytime now. He said, "Now's the time to go."
Sounds like we have to go.
We mustn't delay.
We're going to be fishing. Well, maybe not quite a bit, but we're going to be fishing with some friends this year.
Yeah, well, we're so lucky to have so many awesome friends and so many friends that are skilled in all these different areas of fishing that I know I'm not experienced in or know very little of. And I think as a fisherman, like, you should try and be as well versed as you can. Yeah. I don't know. That's what I think.
Fast and easy fish pickup. You hear about the new fish processor in San Diego? I have. Congratulations, man. It's pretty good. Make sure to go hit up Fast and Easy Fish Pickup. Also, hit us up. We'd love to get you on the podcast, too.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Let's help promote our friends there. Tuna says, I'll send you pictures of what I have done with the stones. Perfect. Tell me more about the fin clip, how I can help. And that's from our good friend Butch. Butch right now is it's a pilot program, kind of like what Tony had said, but if you want fin clips, reach out to us. We can get some for you. Just make sure that they've got some protocols. But other than that, it's very, very simple, as you can probably attest to.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, Butch. I mean, you get a little Ziploc baggie, and it has 5 vials in there, all with a sterilized solution. You have scissors, a little piece of paper that is just used to document some information, some basic information. So they ask for your name, they ask for the area that it was caught. So if you don't want to talk about, not your Latin long, but if you caught him at Clementi, then mention Clementi. You don't have to specifically say this specific spot, then it asks for the length. So you want to make sure you get the best, most accurate length as possible to your best ability. So that would be at the very point of the mouth to the fork length of the tail is how you want to measure that. And then they ask you if it was released, if you kept the heads, or if the heads were donated. So it's very simple information that you can fill out on the spot. Mm-hmm. Plus cutting the fin clip, and you just put that in each vial.
Super, super simple. Butch, reach out to us, man. We'll get you some for sure.
Yeah, we got a handful. We'll send you some.
Yeah. David says, shout out to BD Outdoors team and the Yellowtail Shootout event. It was pretty awesome. Ollie and his team always taking care of CCA Cal SD chapter. By the way, great job, Chris and Tony. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Don was commenting on, I believe, the knife jig comment. 300 feet of line at 45 degrees is only 200 feet deep, not counting scope. 200 feet away from boat also.
Yeah, see, I can't do that math that quickly, so thank you. See, that just proves my point. If you're at 45-degree angle, you're 300 feet out, you're not 300 feet down. You are 300 out.
Yeah. Andy is, I'm a young biologist graduating in December, and I'm wanting to attend grad school potentially. Any luck or people I should work with?
Hubs.
Yeah. I was going to say, Hub SeaWorld Research Institute is always, they're our partners over there. They've got the Mission Bay Hatchery. They also have the Carlsbad Hatchery too. So plenty of opportunity, and those would be the people that I would recommend if you need their contact info. You can always look them up, hit them up on either on Instagram or email or whatnot. But worst comes to worst, you can always hit us up, and we'll put you in contact with the right people. Yeah,
and it depends what you want to specialize in too, and really finely study. And it doesn't have to just be fish that we have connections with. I mean, from oyster farms to eelgrass to crustaceans and echinoderms and all those fun stuff. If you have any questions, talk to us. Myself, I can give you a laundry list of people to get in contact with, or check U.S. Fish and Game, Fish and Wildlife. There's fisheries biologists, there's hatchery biologists. There's so many different avenues that you can look into. But my advice, my quasi-educated advice would just would just be to ask yourself what really interests you the most. If it's fish, cool. Fish are awesome. Mm-hmm. If it's mollusks, those are cool too. Tide pools,
know what that is.
Mollusks. Like, did you know, fun fact, that an octopus is a mollusk? So think of clams, bivalves, monovalves. Octopuses.
Interesting.
Are not clams, they're mollusks.
Oh, man.
Fun fact of the day.
Yeah, learn something new every day. Andy says, thank you. Chavez says, how's the Star Tournament going? Do you guys have an idea on number of submissions so far? Well, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but submissions, I can't really give you a number because there's been so many. So many. Every week.
We must be at 700.
Well, submissions.
Oh, submissions.
Yeah. I would be willing to bet we're in week 5, I think.
Yeah.
We're averaging about 100 a week, I think. I'd be willing to bet.
Yeah, I think we had 84 submissions the first week, 60-something the following week. Mm-hmm. But I think they've gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
So we might be well over I would say at least 250 to 300 individual submissions.
Oh, I think
if I had to guess.
we're closer to 4.
You think we're closer to 4?
I think we're beyond 4, actually.
Oh,
I think so. But yeah, overall, Star Tournament is going absolutely amazing, as we've said at length earlier. But it's been good. I think the number of people participating in that, I think we're over 700.
We have to be.
I think so.
Yeah, we have to be.
I need to check, but I think we're over the 700 mark.
Sick.
Which, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. We were not expecting that. Which is cool.
No, I think we were going to be so happy if we had like 400, even though our goal was 5.
I mean, we're in year 1, and we would have been ecstatic. We are ecstatic if we were at 5.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, obviously this thing's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And as more people find out about it, that we're giving away a brand new boat, thanks to our good friend Nick Kelly at West Coast Marine, I think it's only going to grow from here. And that's kind of one of the things that we're going to plan this summer is the 2025 Star Tournament. Yeah. So a lot of good things to come for sure, for sure. Marco says, I have a 30-pound, 40-pound, 60-pound tuna sticks I'm looking to add to my quiver. Should I turn my focus to fast and slow jigging rods or a bass stick for calico? What do you think?
One more time, if he had to choose what to upgrade, a bass stick or a 80-pound rod?
Okay. So he says, I have a 30-pound, 40-pound, and 60-pound tuna sticks. I'm looking to add to my quiver. Should I turn my focus to fast, slow jigging rods or a bass stick for calico?
Oh, okay. Okay, I understand. So I think like smaller sub 20-pound test setups is always good to have and always fun to have. Like I have a 12 to 25 pound rod that I fish like 20 pound with, super whippy rod, and I can use that rod from bass to like bay bass in the like Mission Bay. I can fish calico bass like off of patties with it as a fly line rod. So there's a lot of different applications that you can use it. You could use it kelp patty bonita, but 14 pound. We're finding 14-pound bonita right now. They're pretty big. I think
you caught a couple of those last week.
Oh, I caught more than a couple. But I think another thing that's missing from that list, because that's a good range.
Yeah, that's you're set up pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, if those are all fly line plus a tuna stick, if you want to get into surface irons and like stick baits, I mean that is a whole new category in itself.
See, that was going to be my answer to that one. So, you know, I'm biased. I love bass fishing. No question about it. That's probably, if I had to choose something to do on my day off, that's what I would do. So missing out of that quiver is definitely a bass stick. You know, me personally, I love a lot of stick bait fishing. I love hard baits. You know, some swim baits, not too many though. But I would, you know, you can't really go wrong with a 20-pound setup for bass. You also can't really go wrong with a jig stick too. If you fish a lot of jigs like what I do, you know, a jig stick is probably a pretty decent investment. You know, a surface iron stick as well, to where, you know, you can fish, and it also really depends whether you fish consistently, either live bait or jigs or something. And depending on that, that's probably the route that I would take, is to try to get a jig stick or even a light bass setup, something with maybe a 200 size reel, maybe a 300 size reel for saltwater bass. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, I have a little Akuma Metalloid. It's not a bait caster, it's not a spinning rod, it's a conventional, but it's super small, low profile. That's like finesse fishing. And finesse fishing for me is so much fun. Even with like 40, 50-pound bluefin on like lighter test, you know, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun to do. So I have another one here. Mm-hmm. Kyle's Fisherman. Are those new PE9 jigging reels worth the money, or can I just use my Penn VSX 2-speed? Those, the Monster Game jigging reels. I'll even include OSHA jigger in there too. Those are some killer reels. They are powerhouse reels, and I totally get it. I don't own one personally. I wish I did. I don't make that much money, but they are absolutely worth it. However, there are a lot of alternatives if you're not looking to break the bank. I mean, Akuma has the Alijos reels. They make the narrow, they make a high speed, and you definitely want a reel that has a really fast retrieve. The Penn International, I don't know that reel too well. You'd have to look at the gear ratio, but you definitely want a higher speed reel, just because you're trying to get that reaction bite with that kind of fishing. And what you could do, because what I do with my reels that I use on my jigging rods is I change out the stock handle. So like I have an Avid Raptor, a Fathom 40 that I've used on it before, and those aren't, $800, $900 reels, but I can't tell you the amount of fish that I've caught on them. And it goes with one of those things to say that you don't have to have the most expensive reel, the most expensive rod, the most expensive line to land these fish. I mean, the fish, bluefin can't tell what you're using. Is your line properly tied? Is your knot good? Is your bait or your jig in the right place at the right time? Mm-hmm. All those things put in together, does it really matter the type of gear? To a certain extent it does, but there are a lot of other options out there for you. You don't have to use the biggest model, but other reels, Fathom 40 to use, change out the handle, put a power torque handle on there. Black Flag Fishing, I think is the Instagram name, is where a lot of us get our handles from. But it's all preference. Mm-hmm. It's all preference. But there are other options. Nice. You're not looking to break the bank.
Yeah. I mean, like I've said before, all of our gear, all of our setups nowadays, it's an investment. So whatever you can do, or whatever you can add when you can add it, it's very it should be strategic as to what either you currently do or what you want to get into doing, because there's so many different aspects in which you can go fishing.
Yeah, and nothing's wrong with getting used gear either. Our friends at San Diego Tackle Traders, they have so much gear, and I can't tell you the number of times I've been in there to get rods and reels and jigs that to me...
You live there, right?
I'm like right up... Yeah, I'm that way.
No, you actually live at Tackle Traders?
No. No, the little doggy bed in the corner, that's not me.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with getting used gear either. I've found gear that was only used like twice, and someone was just getting rid of it. So there are plenty of deals out there. Well,
not to mention, those are kind of like gold mines, to where you might be able to find gear that's no longer available, but was super badass, when it came out.
Yeah, like the Fathoms.
Yeah.
They're not making the all black Fathoms anymore.
Yeah.
In certain models. I was so bummed when I saw that. And then I looked at all my Fathoms. I'm like, I'm never letting you go. I'm taking such good care of you.
You have all of the black ones, and then one was it silver, or one of...
I have the new Fathom 40, but I have that on a rockfish, like slow pitch rod. And the handle for that type of fishing, I think, is ideal.
Do you do much slow pitch fishing?
If the opportunity prevents itself. Like for me, I like doing that for rockfish off a jig, just to see what comes up. And it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Like 30, 40 pound test, super light rod, just working it. Usually when my jig hits the bottom, when I'm fishing rockfish on a slow pitch rod, by the first or second crank, you're usually bit.
Yeah.
If they're biting and you're in a good spot.
A lot of people give me a lot of crap for that.
Why?
Well, okay.
Who gives you a hard time?
I love I love slow pitch fishing. I love jig fishing, as it's been well established on the podcast. But most people's mentality to where, oh, I'm dropping 300 feet down or more, I'm putting 2 hooks on and I'm making it worth it. That wind up and all that deep drop. But for me, it's like I'm not going after
the meat.
Yeah, I'm not going after quantity. I'm going after, I guess, fun, but also, quality too.
Yeah, I'm so lucky in the last, 4 years, the amount of time I've spent on the water and have been able to fish, that for me, I try to make it, imagine doing all these trips and using the same squid dropper loop, setup for rockfish. Like, to me, I want to change it up. I want to see what jig can get bit, or I'm that annoying person. I'll tie on the most obscure jig that I have and see if it works. And most of the time it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's like, for me, that's part of the sport in it. I'm not necessarily concerned with, am I going to bring a lot of meat home? Mm-hmm. For me, like I said, it's more of the sport. What tackle can I use that's different, that still ends up with the same or potentially better outcome?
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Hey, but that's just me. That's just my opinion.
Yes. Butch commented, Tony, you need to fish with us at San Nick in winter, 50 fathoms.
Let's go.
What the hell, Butch? I'm right here. I thought we were friends. Anyway, Tony, do you have any other questions on your end?
Any other questions, Chris? I don't know.
Well, from your feed.
Oh, I thought you meant in general. Chavez, you slammed them Bonita on our charter last week. That was so much fun. We had a charter on the San Diego. Thank you, Booger. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you to all the guys that were out there. You made that trip a lot of fun. The Bonita Smash was a lot of fun, except you guys caught bluefin the next day. A little bummed, but that's okay because I caught my yellowtail, so I was all happy.
That was heartbreaking. I saw that post, and I'm like, oh, that is bad timing.
Oh, man. Chris, I actually have a handful of questions here. Okay, Chavez again. Speaking...
Before you go in...
Go for it.
Butch, I said I do like slow pitch fishing, not don't. Anyway.
Chavez again, speaking of used gear, looking to offload used gear. Does CCA take donations?
We do. If you would like to donate your tackle, used or unused or whatever, you are more than welcome to do that. All you have to do is go on our website, and all 3 of our email addresses are on the website. Send me an email, and we can coordinate that. No problem.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
Yep.
AKA the Sack, big time follower. Thank you so much for watching my sport boat roundups. I really appreciate you. His questions: what are thoughts on the tungsten jigs? So I have a couple thoughts. Tungsten jigs, they are expensive right now.
That's it's all you, because I didn't even know that they made jigs out of tungsten.
Yeah, you need to get the fancy Japan jigs.
I have a
Chris.
tungsten ring. This is tungsten. But that should go well. I should get a tungsten jig, actually.
Yeah.
Now I think about it.
Daiwa might have some. A lot of other companies might start having them.
Okay.
But, the tungsten jigs, I think what makes them really special is they, I believe, are more dense than your typical lead and how their molecules are arranged. So, I was talking about this earlier with little micro bait and finding a jig. When I say those smaller profile jigs, I mean, we're talking 250 grams in a jig that's like, that fits in the size of your palm. It's not 8 inches long or whatever. It's not super long. But especially when the bluefin bite is really finicky, if you're having trouble getting bit on a typical knife jig, 250 gram knife jig, then it might behoove you to drop down something that's shorter. Word. Behoove. That's a little bit shorter, but still has a lot of weight. the flutter, the action is going to be a little bit different, and they're closer inside to anchovies. So I think tungsten jigs are super cool, but they are pricey. They are pricey, so don't lose it. Kev makes rods, talking about buying used tackle. Old rods are 100% reusable. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy an old used rod and have a rod builder rewrap it.
I've done that before.
Oh, you have?
Mm-hmm. He's absolutely correct. Actually, the ones that I can't remember off the top of my head, but the ones that I've reused like that actually belongs to my grandfather.
Oh, really? Oh, you got the OGs.
Yeah.
You got the OGs.
Yeah. It was more nostalgic than anything, but it's really, it's fun. It's cool.
Kev makes rods. He also added 400-gram tungsten jig would be approximately the same size as a 200-gram lead jig. Okay, there you go.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice. Are you all caught up?
I am caught up.
Marco asked a question that could be very controversial. I'll ask you. Which charter has the best food?
What charter has, what boat has the best food?
He's asking which boat has the best food.
I mean, generally, I would imagine long range because you're getting the most amazing, like some of the best food I've ever had was on like multi-day trips. And you have the display and the quality and it's so delicious.
Yeah.
As far as a charter boat, like a sport boat down here, I don't know. There's a lot of guys that have really awesome food.
All throughout Southern California. I mean, there is something to be said where we all know about it. There's something to be said about a boat burger.
You know, Chris, it's funny that you bring that up because from somebody like myself who smelled bacon every morning and the smell of burgers every morning. Sometimes it's difficult for me to have boat food. However, I had the most delicious boat burger, I think, or just the most delicious burger I've ever had in my life on the Freedom.
Oh, you told me about that.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was the best burger I've ever had. So there you go. There's one answer. There's one boat out of the many.
Yeah. I think you're right. Oh, I know you're right. Where the long range boats, all of them have like just top notch food, and that's not putting any shade on charter boats or multi-day boats or even day boats or whatnot. But long range is pretty well known for their food. But I will say, I've got a great friend in Greg on the Sun Fun. Hopefully we see him. Hopefully he's cooking burgers for us on Tuesday.
Well, I look forward to it then.
Oh, it's badass. And if you want to join us.
I'm hungry.
If you want to join us on that trip, we still have spots. I think we have maybe a handful of spots left. It's $100 on the Sun Fun. Come join us bass fishing on Tuesday. 89 Charlie, I want to invite you on Time in the Water Live. Well, shoot us a note. Love to join you sometime. Can you repeat that? Repeat what? You're gonna have to be a little more specific. But anyway, Tony, we are at an hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
We are at an hour and a half of doing this.
We've grabbed the attention of that many people for an hour and a half?
I guess so.
That is awesome. Thank you to everybody who participated and asked us some questions. This was kind of a trial run for us here, so maybe we do this more often.
I think so. If you want us to do it more often, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Also, make sure to go subscribe to our podcast. Big reason why we did it is because most people don't even know we have a podcast. And we have great guests all the time, talk about a whole bunch of topics. And just because we're CCA doesn't mean we talk about advocacy. It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. We have a lot of fun in this studio here.
Oh, we definitely do.
Yep.
Definitely
and we're missing our partner, Darren, too.
Darren.
Yeah.
So disappointed.
I know. But it's going to be fun. If you do want us to do this more often, make sure you drop us a comment below And I think we should do this more often. It's fun.
No, this was fun. I love talking about fishing and stuff.
Yeah. And honestly, we had no agenda going into this episode.
Yeah,
too.
Chris, you asked me, you're like, so should we have a list of topics? And I said, no, let's just roll
For those
it.
of you on Instagram, that was my notepad. It's blank. It's absolutely blank. But Tony, let's head off into our weekend early. And make sure.
Wait, we get weekends?
Yeah, we get weekends, believe it or not. For those of you on Instagram, make sure to go subscribe to our podcast. Make sure to go follow us on Instagram at CCA California. Make sure to go follow the star page on Instagram at CCA Cal Star. And make sure to go subscribe to the podcast if I haven't said that already. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And we're also on YouTube. We do have a YouTube page as well. So make sure to go subscribe to that. That has all the video form of all of our podcasts too, so you can actually see our faces and what we're actually doing here.
Yeah, I mean we're trying to do our best to get people into what we're doing, and we're trying to pump out content as much as possible to show you guys kind of a glimpse into not a day in the life, but a lot of the events that we have going on, because there's always stuff going on. We're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for participation. And if you are wanting to scope it out and see what we're about, we have chapter meetings that meet once a month all along the coast, and they're open to everybody. So we want you to come out, have fun with us. It's a good time, and we'll talk about advocacy. We'll talk about projects. We'll talk about charters. We talk about it all. There's a lot going on. About tackle, especially. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
myself is guilty of that. But Chris, I have one more question before we go. Our favorite fishing lures for barracuda? Anything. Literally anything.
Yeah, anything.
Anything that swims and comes to the boat. Anything. Surface iron, souse, 6X, 7X. I've seen it all.
Anything.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for this week. It sounds like, at least on my end, Tony, everyone wants to do this again. So we'll have to do this. Do this again. We'll plan it out a little bit better next time.
Yeah.
Or
we just go into it like we did today.
Or we could do that
just
too.
Wing it.
Or, yeah. Maybe we establish a Friday of the month.
Yeah.
We do that.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll chat about it.
Yeah.
Well, good seeing you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on Instagram Live and also on the podcast. Make sure to go follow us on Instagram at CCA California, the star page at CCA Cal Star, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And with that, we will see you guys next week. Take care. Robbie was calling me.